Ambassador Kim Hyun-woo stood in the massive hall of the Galactic Council. The ceiling stretched high above him, covered with lights that looked like stars. Around him sat 12 different alien species, each one thinking they were better than humans. Their eyes looked at him like he was some kind of bug. "The humans come begging again," said Council Leader Vextar, his blue skin shining under the lights. His voice was cold and mean. "What do your people want this time?" Kim kept his face calm, but inside he was angry. For 50 years, Earth had tried to join this council. Every time they said no. They called humans primitive and stupid. They said Earth was just a backwater planet with nothing to offer. "Honored Council," Kim said, bowing slightly. "I come with urgent news. The Vorthak Empire has attacked 3 human colonies in the Outer Rim. They are taking our people as slaves. We ask for your help." The aliens around the circle started making noises. Some laughed. Others made clicking sounds with their mouths. The large, red-skinned Bruthan representative slammed his fist on the table. "Human slaves work hard," the Bruthan growled. "Good for mining, good for building. Why should we stop this?" Kim felt his hands shake with anger, but he kept them at his sides. "Because it is wrong. Because we are intelligent beings who deserve freedom." More laughter filled the hall. Council Leader Vextar raised his hand for quiet. "The Vorthak Empire is a member of this council," Vextar said. "They follow galactic law. If they take humans, it is because humans are not protected by our laws. Only council members get protection." "Then let us join the council," Kim said quickly. "Impossible," came a voice from across the room. It was Councilor Zephyrus, who looked like a giant insect with 4 arms. "Humans have no advanced technology. Your ships are slow and weak. Your weapons are primitive. You offer nothing to the galaxy." Kim took a deep breath. This was always their excuse. For 50 years, every time Earth applied to join, they said the same thing. Humans were too backward, too primitive, not worthy of sitting with the great civilizations of the galaxy. What they did not know was that humans had been listening, learning, and preparing. "Perhaps we could work together," Kim said. "Earth has many resources. Our people are willing to learn." "Your people are good for manual labor," said the snake-like Sarathi representative. "Nothing more. We have no need for new pets." The word pets hit Kim like a punch to the stomach. Around the circle, the aliens nodded in agreement. To them, humans were animals, things to be used and thrown away. "The matter is closed," Vextar announced. "The Vorthak Empire may continue their operations. In human space, this council will not interfere." Kim stood there for a moment, looking at each alien face. They all stared back at him with cold eyes. 50 years of trying to make peace. 50 years of being treated like dirt. And now they were going to let his people be enslaved. "I understand," Kim said quietly. "Thank you for your time." He turned and walked toward the exit. Behind him, the aliens had already moved on to other business. They had forgotten about humans completely. Kim walked through the long hallways of the council building. His footsteps echoed off the walls. Guard robots watched him pass, their red eyes following his movement. They knew he was just a human, not a threat, not important. If only they knew the truth. Kim reached his small ship in the docking bay. It looked tiny next to the massive alien vessels around it. The other ships were covered in weapons and armor. His ship looked like a child's toy in comparison. He climbed inside and sealed the door. Only then did he allow himself to show emotion. His hands shook as he activated the communication system. "Priority message to Earth Command," he said into the microphone. "Authorization code, Thunder 77 Alpha." The screen flickered to life. Admiral Lee Daho appeared, his face serious and calm. Behind him, Kim could see the bridge of a starship, though the image was kept deliberately dark. "Ambassador Kim," the Admiral said. "Report." "They refused again, sir. Worse than that. They have given the Vorthak permission to continue taking our people as slaves. The Council will not help us." Admiral Lee nodded slowly. His dark eyes showed no surprise. "We expected this outcome. Are you certain they suspect nothing?" "Completely certain, sir. They still think we are primitive. They believe our ships are weak and our technology is backward." "Good. That is exactly what we wanted them to think." Admiral Lee paused. "Kim, you have done excellent work these past 50 years, playing the weak and desperate human, making them believe we are helpless. Kim felt a smile come to his face for the first time in months. It was not easy, sir, being treated like an animal every day. Your sacrifice has not been forgotten. Because of your work, they have no idea what is coming. The Admiral's face became very serious. Kim, I need you to send one final message to the Council. Tell them that Earth accepts their decision. Tell them we will not bother them again. Yes, sir. And Kim, after you send that message, get off that station. Get far away. Things are about to change in this galaxy. Kim felt his heart beat faster. After 50 years of planning and preparing, it was finally time. How long do I have, sir? 72 hours. Then Operation Thunderstrike begins. The screen went dark. Kim sat in his pilot's chair for a moment, thinking about everything that had led to this moment. 50 years ago, when the first alien ships had arrived at Earth, humans had been excited. They thought they were meeting friends. They thought they would be welcomed into a great galactic community. Instead, they found arrogance, cruelty, species that saw humans as less than animals, but humans had adapted. While the aliens laughed at them, human scientists had worked day and night. They had studied every piece of alien technology they could find. They had learned, improved, and built something the galaxy had never seen before. The aliens thought human ships were slow and weak because that is what humans wanted them to think. The truth was very different. Kim activated his ship's communication system one last time. He sent a formal message to the Galactic Council, thanking them for their time and promising that Earth would not bother them again. The aliens would read that message and feel satisfied. They had put the annoying humans in their place once more. They would go back to their comfortable lives, never knowing that they had just signed their own death warrant. Kim started his ship's engines and flew away from the massive space station. As he traveled through hyperspace back toward Earth, he thought about Admiral Lee and the fleet that had been hidden for so long. Soon, the galaxy would learn that humans were not primitive or weak. Soon, they would understand the terrible mistake they had made. The sleeping giant was about to wake up, and when it did, the galaxy would never be the same. Commander Cho Minho floated in zero gravity inside his ship's bridge. The Shadow Walker was unlike any vessel the galaxy had ever seen. From the outside, it looked like empty space. The ship's hull bent light around it, making it completely invisible. To all known sensors. Target acquired, whispered Lieutenant Han Jiwoo from her navigation station. Her fingers danced across the control panel. Vorthak supply convoy, just like the intelligence report said. Cho looked at the tactical display. 12 large cargo ships protected by 4 warships. They were carrying supplies to support the Vorthak slave operations in human space. Food, weapons, and equipment to help them capture more human families. Dr. Yang, are the new weapons ready? Cho asked quietly. Dr. Yang Subin looked up from her engineering station. Her eyes were bright with excitement. The quantum disruptors are fully charged, Commander. The enemy ships will never know what hit them. Cho nodded. For 3 weeks now, his squadron had been hunting Vorthak ships. Each attack was quick and silent. The enemy vessels would simply stop working. Their engines would die. Their weapons would fail. Their life support would shut down. The strange thing was, the ships were not destroyed. They were left floating in space, completely powerless. When rescue ships arrived hours later, they found the crews unconscious but alive, and they found no trace of weapons damage anywhere on the ships. Remember the plan, Cho said to his crew. We hit them fast and quiet. Take out their engines first, then weapons, then life support. Leave them floating but alive. Why do we leave them alive? Asked Ensign Park Min-soo from the communication station. Would it not be easier to just destroy them? Cho smiled. Because fear is a better weapon than death, Ensign. Dead enemies cannot tell stories, but enemies who survive, who return home, with tales of impossible attacks by invisible ships, they spread fear throughout their entire fleet. The Shadow Walker moved closer to the convoy. Its engines made no sound and left no energy trail. The ship was a ghost in the void. In position, Han reported. All targets locked. Fire, Cho ordered. Invisible beams shot out from the Shadow Walker. They passed through the convoy's shields like they were not there. The quantum disruptors found the enemy ship's power cores. and simply turned them off. One by one, the Vorthak vessels went dark. Their engines stopped, their lights died, their weapons powered down. In less than 30 seconds, the entire convoy was floating helpless in space. "Beautiful work," Dr. Yang said with satisfaction. "The quantum field completely disrupted their energy systems without causing any physical damage." "Emergency signals are going out," Park reported. "They are calling for help." "Let them call," Cho said. "By the time help arrives, we will be long gone." The Shadow Walker turned away from the powerless convoy and vanished into hyperspace. Behind them, 16 Vorthak ships drifted in the darkness, their crews confused and terrified. This was the 47th attack in 3 weeks. The Vorthak military was starting to panic. Their supply lines were being cut to pieces by an enemy they could not see or fight. 3 hours later, Cho stood in the briefing room of a hidden space station. Around him sat the commanders of 12 other stealth ships. Each one had been conducting similar operations across Vorthak space. "Report," said Admiral Go Yunji, who commanded the stealth fleet from the hidden base. Commander Lee Sunho spoke first. "My squadron hit a Vorthak patrol group near the Kepler system. 8 ships disabled, no casualties. They are starting to travel in larger groups now." "Same here," added Commander Kim Ari. "They are getting scared. I intercepted communications, saying they think the Bruthan military is behind the attacks." Admiral Go smiled. "Perfect. The more they blame each other, the better." Commander Cho raised his hand. "Admiral, I am seeing increased military activity in the border systems. The Vorthak are pulling ships away from human space to protect their supply lines." "Excellent news. That means fewer ships attacking our colonies." Admiral Go stood up and walked to a large star map on the wall. "Phase 1 is working perfectly. The enemy is confused and frightened. They do not know who is attacking, them or how." She pointed to several systems marked in red. "For the next 2 weeks, we continue hitting supply convoys and patrol groups, but I want you to start leaving clues that point to different species." Commander Park Yoongi looked confused. "What kind of clues, Admiral?" "Weapons signatures that match Sarathi energy patterns, hull fragments with Bruthan metal compositions, communications jamming techniques used by the Crystalline Collective." Admiral Go's eyes were cold. "Let the council members start suspecting each other." Dr. Yang spoke up from the back of the room. "Admiral, the new stealth coating is ready for field testing. We can make our ships completely invisible to quantum sensors as well." "How many ships can be upgraded?" 20 more ships within the week. 50 by the end of the month." Admiral Go nodded. "Do it. The more invisible ships we have, the more chaos we can create." The meeting broke up and the commanders returned to their ships. Commander Cho walked back to the Shadow Walker with Dr. Yang. "Doctor, may I ask you something?" Cho said, as they floated through the station's corridors. "Of course, Commander. Why did Earth spend 50 years developing this technology in secret? Why not reveal our capabilities earlier?" Dr. Yang was quiet for a moment. "Because our leaders are very smart, Commander. They knew that if the galaxy saw our real technology too early, they would have united against us. They would have destroyed Earth before we were ready." "And now we are ready?" "Oh yes," Dr. Yang smiled. "We are more than ready. What you have seen so far is just the beginning. Wait until you see what Admiral Lee Daeho has been building." Back aboard the Shadow Walker, Cho received new orders. His squadron was to attack a major Vorthak military base. Not just disable a few ships this time, but cripple an entire star system's defenses. "This is a much bigger operation," Han said, as she plotted their course. "The stakes are getting higher," Cho agreed. "But so are we." The Shadow Walker and 5 other stealth ships jumped into hyperspace, heading for the Vorthak military stronghold at Beta Centauri. They carried enough quantum disruptors to shut down every ship and defense platform in the system. When they arrived, Cho saw hundreds of Vorthak warships gathered around the planet, the largest military base he had ever seen. Massive orbital weapons platforms, shield generators that could protect the entire planet. "Look at all those ships," whispered Ensign Park. "There must be 1,000 of them." "Perfect," said Dr. Yang. "The more ships we disable here, the bigger the message we send." Commander Cho took a deep breath. "All ships, this is Shadow Leader. Begin Operation Ghost Storm. Take out everything. that moves. For the next 6 hours, invisible human ships moved through the Vorthak fleet like death itself. One by one, the mighty warships went dark. The orbital platforms shut down. The shield generators failed. By morning, the entire Beta Centauri system was floating powerless in space, 1,000 Vorthak ships helpless and afraid. The crews could do nothing but send out desperate calls for help. But the strangest thing was the evidence left behind. Weapons signatures from 3 different council species, hull fragments that pointed to multiple attackers, communications, jamming that matched techniques from across the galaxy. Within hours, the Vorthak government was accusing the Bruthan Empire of launching a surprise attack. The Bruthans denied it and blamed the Sarathi. The Sarathi accused the Crystalline Collective. The Galactic Council was in chaos. Member species were pointing fingers at each other. Trust was breaking down. Alliances were crumbling. And somewhere in the darkness between the stars, invisible human ships continued their work, spreading fear, creating confusion, preparing the galaxy for what was coming next. The ghosts in the void were just the beginning. Captain Bei Junho stood on the bridge of the Retribution and watched the stars bend around his ship as it dropped out of hyperspace. What appeared before him made his heart burn with anger. The human colony of New Sol was burning. Orbital stations were destroyed. Ships lay broken in space. And surrounding the planet was the largest Vorthak war fleet ever assembled. Over 300 ships, including their massive Dreadnought carriers. "Sir," called Lieutenant Oh Sung-hwan from the sensor station. "I am detecting 17,000 human life signs on the planet's surface. They appear to be in camps." "Slave camps," General No Taewon growled from beside the captain's chair. The Marine commander's hands were clenched into fists. "They rounded up every human on the planet." Captain Bei looked at the tactical display. 300 enemy ships against his single vessel. The Vorthak probably thought they had already won. They had no idea what they were facing. "Communications from the enemy fleet," reported Ensign Kim Heron. "Put it on screen." The main display showed a large Vorthak, with scarred green skin and yellow eyes. Admiral Korath, commander of the Vorthak 7th Fleet. He was smiling, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Unknown vessel, you are in Vorthak space. Identify yourself or be destroyed." Captain Bei stepped forward so the alien could see him clearly. I'm Captain Bei Junho of the Earth vessel Retribution. You have enslaved human civilians. Release them immediately." Admiral Korath laughed, a harsh sound like breaking glass. "A single human ship? You dare threaten me? I have 300 warships under my command." "And I have one," Bei said calmly. "That should be enough." The alien's laughter stopped. "Enough? Are you insane? Your primitive ship will be space dust in minutes." "We shall see." Bei nodded to his crew. "End transmission." The screen went dark. Around the bridge, the crew of the Retribution prepared for battle. These were not ordinary sailors. They had trained for this moment for decades. "All stations report ready," announced Admiral Go Yunji, who served as the ship's tactical coordinator. "Weapons are charged and targeting systems are locked." "Dr. Yang," Captain Bei called to the chief engineer. "Are the new shields online?" Dr. Yang Subin looked up from her station with confidence. "Shield matrix is fully operational, Captain. They can fire at us for hours and never break through. And our weapons? The graviton cannons are ready. The quantum torpedoes are loaded. The planet killer beam is charged but standing by." General No stepped forward. "Captain, my Marines are ready to deploy. Give us a chance to rescue those people." "You will get your chance, General. But first, we show these aliens what happens when they hurt humans." The Vorthak fleet began moving into attack formation. 300 ships spreading out to surround the single human vessel, their weapons powered up, ready to destroy what they saw as a foolish enemy. "Enemy fleet is approaching," reported Lieutenant O. "They are trying to surround us." "Let them come," Captain Bei said. "All weapons, target their flagship. Fire when ready." The Retribution's main guns spoke for the first time in combat. Graviton beams, invisible to the naked eye, reached out across space and touched the Vorthak flagship. The massive alien ship simply stopped existing. One moment it was there, the next moment there was only empty space and a cloud of glowing particles. "Direct hit," Dr. Yang reported with satisfaction. The graviton beam compressed their entire ship into a singularity. Total destruction. The Vorthak fleet stopped moving. On 300 bridges, alien commanders stared in shock at the space where their flagship had been. In 50 years of war, they had never seen a weapon that could simply erase a ship from existence. Enemy fleet is broadcasting on all frequencies, Kim reported. They want to know what happened to their flagship. Let them wonder, Captain Bay said. Target their carriers. Fire quantum torpedoes. 12 blue lights shot out from the Retribution. Each torpedo found a Vorthak carrier and punched through their shields like they were paper. The massive ships exploded in brilliant flashes, taking their fighter squadrons with them. 12 carriers destroyed, Admiral Go reported. Remaining enemy ships are trying to run. They are not going anywhere, Bay said coldly. All batteries, open fire. Show them what human technology can do. For the next 20 minutes, the Retribution fought 300 enemy ships alone. Graviton beams reached out to erase ships from existence. Quantum torpedoes punched through. The strongest armor. Plasma cannons turned battleships into clouds of superheated gas. The Vorthak weapons fired back desperately. Thousands of energy blasts struck the human ship's shields. Nuclear missiles exploded against the barrier. Plasma cannons that could melt asteroids poured their fury against the Retribution. Nothing got through. The shields held perfectly, glowing, blue as they absorbed and deflected every attack. Shield strength holding at 100%, Dr. Yang reported. Their weapons cannot even scratch us. Impossible, came a transmission from one of the surviving Vorthak ships. No ship can have shields that strong. Captain Bay opened a channel to the entire enemy fleet. This is your only warning. Surrender, now, and prepare to be boarded. Continue fighting and be destroyed. Never, screamed a Vorthak commander. We are the masters of this galaxy. We do not surrender to primitive humans. Your choice, Bay said sadly. Weapons free. Destroy them. All. The battle became a massacre. The remaining Vorthak ships tried to fight, but their weapons were useless against human technology. One by one, they were erased from space by graviton beams or torn apart by quantum torpedoes. In 45 minutes, it was over. 300. Vorthak warships had been reduced to glowing debris. Only one enemy vessel remained, a small scout ship that had powered down its weapons and was broadcasting surrender signals. General No, you may proceed with the rescue operation, Captain Bay announced. Thank you, sir. The Marine commander smiled grimly. My boys have been waiting for this chance. Human dropships launched from the Retribution and headed for the planet's surface. The ships were invisible to enemy sensors and armed with weapons that could punch through any defense. On the surface of New Sol, the Vorthak guards looked up in confusion as their camps were suddenly surrounded by human Marines in powered armor. The aliens had no time to react before sleep gas filled the air and they collapsed unconscious. All camps secured, General No reported an hour later. 17,000 humans rescued. The enemy guards are neutralized but alive. Any casualties among our people? Some injuries, but no deaths. The Vorthak were planning to ship them off-world. Tomorrow, we arrived just in time. Captain Bay felt relief wash over him. They had saved the colonists. But more importantly, they had sent a message to the galaxy. Communications, open a channel to the surviving Vorthak ship. The screen showed a terrified alien captain, his scales pale with fear. You will return to your fleet commanders, Bay told him. You will tell them exactly what you saw here today. You will tell them that humans are no longer helpless prey. Yes, Lord Human, the alien stammered. But please, who are you? What kind of ship is this? We are Earth's children, Bay said simply. And this ship is just the beginning. There are many more where this came from. The alien's eyes went wide with terror. How many more? Captain Bay smiled coldly. Enough. The Vorthak scout ship jumped into hyperspace, racing to carry news of the impossible battle to the rest of their empire. Behind it, the Retribution began landing supplies and medical teams on New Sol. Within hours, news of the battle spread across the galaxy. A single human ship had destroyed 300 Vorthak, warships without taking damage, weapons that could erase matter from existence, shields that nothing could penetrate. The galactic news networks called it impossible. Military analysts said the reports had to be false. No single ship could be that powerful. But in the halls of the Galactic Council, the alien leaders looked at each other with growing fear. They remembered the weak little human ships they had laughed at for 50 years. They remembered treating humans like animals, suitable only for slave labor. If the reports were true, they had made a terrible mistake. On board the Retribution, Captain Bay received a message from Earth Command. Admiral Lee Daho appeared on the screen, his face serious. "Excellent work, Captain. The galaxy is starting to pay attention." "Thank you, sir. What are our next orders?" "Prepare for Phase 3. The real fleet is about to reveal itself. And when it does, the galaxy will understand that everything has changed forever." Fleet Admiral Wan Seokjin stood in the command center of the Sol Defense Network, watching dozens of screens that showed star maps across the galaxy. Each red dot represented an alien fleet moving toward human space. Each blue dot was a human. "Dreadnought moving to intercept them." "Sir," called Commander Park Sung-soo from the intelligence station, "we have confirmation. 3 council species have formed an alliance against Earth. The Sarathi Empire, the Crystalline Collective, and the Zephon Dynasty." "How many ships total?" Admiral Wan asked. "Over 2,000 warships, sir. They are calling it the Grand Alliance. Fleet. They plan to attack Earth directly." Admiral Wan nodded calmly. This was exactly what Earth's leaders had expected. The aliens were finally taking humans seriously, but they were still thinking like the old galaxy. They believed numbers would win. And our response? "Captain Lee Yuna is moving to intercept with the Apex Predator. Admiral Kim reports the Second Fleet is ready. The orbital defense platforms around Earth are fully charged." Admiral Wan smiled. The aliens had no idea what they were walking into. 3. Days earlier, Captain Lee Yuna had received her orders while sitting in the command chair of humanity's most advanced warship. The Apex Predator was larger than most space stations and carried weapons that could crack planets. "Captain," her first officer, Lieutenant Choi Min-seok, had said, "long-range sensors detect a massive fleet approaching the Centauri system. 2,000 ships, sir. Composition? Mix of all 3 Alliance species, battleships, carriers, cruisers. They have everything." Captain Lee stood up and walked to the tactical display. "And they think 2,000 ships will be enough to defeat us." "Perhaps they do not understand what our ships can do," suggested Dr. Lim Ji-yeon from the weapons station. "Then we will teach them." Captain Lee turned to her crew. "All hands prepare for combat. We are going to show the galaxy what happens when you threaten Earth." The Apex Predator dropped out of hyperspace directly in front of the Grand Alliance fleet. The human ship was massive, but it was still just 1 vessel against 2,000. "Unknown ship," came a transmission from the enemy fleet. The voice belonged to Admiral Veltash of the Sarathi Empire. "You are blocking our passage to Earth. Move aside or be destroyed." Captain Lee opened a return channel. "This is Captain Lee Yuna of the Earth vessel Apex Predator. You are not welcome in human space. Turn around and leave immediately." Laughter echoed through the communication channel. "1 ship against our grand fleet? Human, you must be insane." "I prefer to think of it as confident," Captain Lee replied. "Dr. Lim, show them why." The Apex Predator's main weapon charged up. It was called the Planet Killer, and it had never been used in combat before. Energy gathered in the ship's forward section until it glowed like a small star. "What are they doing?" came panicked voices from the alien fleet. "Energy readings are off the scale," reported someone else. "Impossible! No ship can generate that much power." Captain Lee smiled. "Fire!" A beam of pure energy lanced out from the Apex Predator. It was not aimed at the enemy ships. Instead, it struck a small moon that was floating nearby. The moon, which had existed for billions of years, simply vanished. Gone. Erased from existence in a flash of light that could be seen. From 3 star systems away, the alien fleet went completely silent. "That was a demonstration," Captain Lee announced. "The next shot will be aimed at your ships. You have 60 seconds to begin retreating." For a moment, nothing happened. 2,000 alien warships sat in space, their crews staring in shock at where the moon had been. Then the panic began. "Retreat! Retreat!" screamed voices across the alien communication channels. "That weapon can destroy planets! We cannot fight something like that! Run! Everyone run!" But Captain Lee was not finished with them yet. "Dr. Lim, target their flagship. Minimum power setting." "Yes, sir. Setting power to 1%. The planet killer fired again, this time at the massive Sarathi command ship. The beam struck the vessel and tore it in half like it was made of paper. The explosion lit up space for thousands of kilometers. "Fleet Admiral Veltash is dead," someone broadcast. "The flagship is destroyed." How? How is this possible? Captain Lee opened a channel to the entire fleet. "This is what human technology can do. We have been building ships like this for 50 years while you laughed at us. Now you see the truth." The alien fleet began to scatter. Ships jumped into hyperspace in all directions, desperate to escape. The impossible human weapon. In minutes, the space around Centauri was empty, except for debris from the destroyed flagship. But the terror was just beginning. News of the apex predator spread across the galaxy faster than light. A human ship that could destroy moons, weapons that could crack planets. The Grand Alliance, which had seemed so powerful just days before, was in complete collapse. Commander Park Sung-Soo monitored communications from his intelligence post. "Sir, we are intercepting massive amounts of chatter from alien governments. They are calling emergency sessions. Some species are talking about surrender." "Which species?" Admiral Wan asked. "The Aquatic Federation has already sent a peace offer. The Machine Collective is requesting immediate negotiations. Even the Bruthan Empire is asking for a ceasefire." Admiral Wan looked at the strategic display. Red dots were disappearing as alien fleets retreated from human space. Blue dots showed human dreadnoughts spreading out across the galaxy, making their presence known. "What about the core worlds?" "The original council members are fortifying their home systems. They are calling it the final defense line." Admiral Wan nodded. The older, more powerful species were not ready to give up yet. They still thought they could win if they worked together. They were wrong. Over the next 2 weeks, human dreadnoughts appeared in dozens of star systems. Each ship was the size of a city and carried weapons that defied everything the galaxy thought. It knew about physics. Captain Moon Dong-yun commanded the dreadnought Sovereign as it appeared above the Bruthan homeworld. The massive alien planet was protected by thousands of defense platforms and a fleet of 500 warships. "This is Admiral Gorth of the Bruthan Empire," came a transmission. "You are violating our sovereign space. Leave immediately or face the consequences." "Negative," Captain Moon replied calmly. "You will surrender your fleet and submit to human authority. You have 10 minutes to comply." "Never. The Bruthan Empire bows to no one. All ships attack that human vessel." 500 Bruthan warships opened fire. Energy beams, missiles, and plasma cannons poured toward the Sovereign. The orbital defense platforms added their firepower. It was enough destructive force to destroy a small fleet. All of it bounced harmlessly off the human ship's shields. "Their weapons cannot penetrate our defenses," reported the Sovereign's tactical officer. "Shield strength remains at full power," Captain Moon sighed. "Some species never learn. Target their orbital platforms. Show them what real weapons look like." The Sovereign's guns spoke. Each shot erased a defense platform from existence. In 5 minutes, the proud defenses of the Bruthan homeworld were reduced to glowing dust. "Impossible!" screamed Admiral Gorth. "Our platforms were invincible." "To your technology, perhaps," Captain Moon said, "but not to ours. Surrender now, and your ships will be spared." The Bruthan fleet tried to retreat, but human ships were faster. One by one, the alien vessels were disabled by quantum weapons that left them powerless but intact. Within hours, the Bruthan Empire had surrendered. Completely. The same scene played out across the galaxy. Human dreadnoughts appeared above alien homeworlds and demanded surrender. Species that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years found themselves helpless against human technology. The Aquatic Federation surrendered after seeing a human ship boil away their ocean defenses with a single shot. The Machine Collective shut down all their military units when human quantum viruses infected their networks. The Crystalline Collective shattered their own war fleets rather than face human weapons. One by one, the great powers of the galaxy fell to their knees. But the most shocking moment came when Captain Park Minji brought her dreadnought to the Galactic Council station itself. The massive Nexus Prime had been the center of galactic government for 1,000 years. "Attention, Galactic Council," Captain Park announced. "This is Captain Park Minji of the Earth vessel Indomitable. By order of Earth Command, this station is now under human control. All council members will surrender immediately and prepare for new management." Council leader Vextar appeared on screen, his blue skin pale with fear. This cannot be happening. We are the rightful rulers of the galaxy." "Not anymore," Captain Park said simply. "Earth is in charge now, and unlike you, we will treat all species with respect and dignity." "But you are just humans, primitive animals." Captain Park's expression hardened. "We were never primitive. We were just patient. For 50 years, you treated us like slaves while we built the most powerful fleet in galactic history. Now you will learn what it means to be on the bottom." Around the galaxy, the age of alien supremacy was ending. The humans, dismissed and despised for half a century, had become the new masters of space, and they were just getting started. Supreme Admiral Kang Ji-hoon stood on the command deck of the massive battle station orbiting Earth. Through the enormous windows, he could see the greatest fleet ever assembled in galactic history. 200 human dreadnoughts hung in space, like sleeping giants, each one capable of destroying entire star systems. "Sir," called diplomat Na Su-young as she approached, "the final ultimatum has been delivered to all remaining independent systems. They have 72 hours to surrender." "How many are still resisting?" 12 core systems, including the original Council homeworlds. They have formed something called the Last Alliance, about 800 ships total. Admiral Kang nodded. He had expected this. The oldest and most arrogant species would not give up easily. They still believed their ancient technology and superior numbers would save them. And their response to our demands? They refused to negotiate. Council leader Vexitar sent a message calling us upstart primitives who will be crushed by the righteous fury of the true galactic powers. Admiral Kang almost smiled. After everything that had happened, they still did not understand. Even with half the galaxy already surrendered, they could not accept that humans were now in control. "Captain Moon, what is the status of the fleet?" Captain Moon Dong-yun, commanding the flagship Sovereign, looked up from his tactical display. "All dreadnoughts are fully operational, sir. Weapons charged, shields at maximum, crews ready for the battle." "Dr. Yang, are the new superweapons online?" Dr. Yang Subin turned from her engineering station with excitement in her eyes. "Yes, sir. The Starkiller missiles are loaded and ready. The gravitational wave generators are fully charged, and the quantum storm projectors have been tested and approved." Admiral Kang walked to the main tactical display, which showed the entire galaxy. Most systems now glowed blue, indicating human control, but near the galactic core, 12 systems still glowed red with defiance. "General No, are your Marines prepared for planetary operations?" General No Taewon saluted sharply. 1 million Marines in powered armor, sir. Drop pods ready for immediate deployment. We can take any planet in the galaxy." "That will not be necessary, General. This battle will be won in space." Admiral Kang turned to address his entire command staff. "Ladies and gentlemen, today we end the old galactic order forever. For 1,000 years, these species have ruled through fear and oppression. They made billions of beings into slaves. They treated entire civilizations as animals." He paused, looking at each officer. "Today, we show them what real power looks like." The human fleet moved out from Earth's orbit like a tide of steel and energy. 200 dreadnoughts, each one a masterpiece of human engineering. Ships that could move faster than light, survive the heat of stars, and carry weapons that could reshape reality itself. Leading the fleet was the Sovereign, with Admiral Kang and the Supreme Command Staff aboard. Behind it came waves of massive warships, the Indomitable, the Retribution, the Apex Predator, the Thunder of Earth, the Final Judgment, and dozens more. "Admiral," reported Captain Moon as they entered hyperspace. "Long-range sensors show the enemy fleet gathering at the galactic core. They are positioning themselves around the Council's fortress world." "How many ships?" 800 confirmed. All their remaining dreadnoughts, carriers, and battleships. It is everything they have left. Admiral Kang studied the tactical readout. The core worlds had built their fortress around an artificial planet at the galaxy's center. massive shield generators protected by rings of weapon platforms. It was supposed to be the most defended location in known space. They think their fortress will protect them, Admiral Kang said quietly. They still do not understand what they are facing. 3 hours later, the human fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the galactic core. Before them lay the enemy's last stronghold, the artificial world of Nexus Omega, surrounded by defensive rings that stretched for millions of kilometers. 800 alien warships hung in protective formations around the fortress. These were the elite fleets of 12 different species, representing thousands of years of military tradition and technological advancement. "Incoming transmission," announced Communications Officer Lee Hanna. "Put it through." The main screen showed 12 alien leaders standing together on what looked like a council chamber. Council Leader Vextar stepped forward, his blue skin dark with anger. "Humans," he said with hatred dripping from his voice. "You have gone too far. This ends here. We represent the rightful rulers of the galaxy, and we will not bow to primitive animals. The Bruthan Empire agrees," growled a massive red-skinned alien. "We have ruled for 3,000 years. We will not be defeated by upstart apes." Other voices joined in, each species proclaiming their superiority and their intention to destroy the human fleet. Admiral Kang listened patiently until they were finished. Then he stepped forward so they could all see him clearly. "You call us primitive," he said in a calm voice. "You call us animals. For 50 years, you treated humans like slaves and laughed at our requests for basic dignity." He paused, his eyes growing cold. "Today, you learn the price of that arrogance." Admiral Kang turned to his weapons officer. "Dr. Yang, demonstrate the Starkiller missile." "Yes, sir. Target selected, the uninhabited system 3 light-years from here. On the tactical display, everyone could see a distant star with several dead planets orbiting it. Dr. Yang pressed a button and a single missile launched from the human fleet. Missile away. Impact in 30 seconds. The alien leaders looked confused. "What are you trying to prove? You missed our fortress completely." 29 seconds later, the distant star exploded. Not the kind of explosion that happens when stars die naturally. This was different. The star simply burst apart in a flash of light that outshone entire galaxies. The planets around it were vaporized instantly. The explosion created a new nebula that would glow for millions of years. The alien leaders stared in absolute silence. "That was one missile," Admiral Kang said quietly. "We have hundreds more. Surrender now, or we will use them on every system you control." "Impossible," whispered one of the alien commanders. "No weapon can destroy a star." "Human weapons can," Dr. Yang said proudly. "We learned to manipulate the fundamental forces of the universe while you were laughing at us." Council Leader Vextar's voice was shaking. You cannot do this. It violates every law of warfare." "Whose laws?" Admiral Kang asked. "Your laws? The laws that allowed slavery and genocide? The laws that treated entire species as property?" His voice grew hard. "We reject your laws. From now on, the galaxy follows human law." "Never," screamed the Bruthan leader. "All ships, attack! Destroy these human monsters!" 800 alien warships charged toward the human fleet. It was the largest military force ever assembled, representing the combined might of the galaxy's oldest civilizations. The human fleet did not move. 200 dreadnoughts hung motionless in space, waiting. "Sir," called Captain Moon, "enemy fleet approaching. They will be in weapons range in 2 minutes." "Let them come closer," Admiral Kang said. "I want them to see exactly what happens next." The alien fleet opened fire while still at maximum range. Thousands of energy beams, missiles, and exotic weapons reached across space toward the human ships. It was enough firepower to destroy entire planets. Every shot bounced harmlessly. "Off the human shields? Impossible!" came screams from the alien fleet. "Nothing can withstand that much firepower." "Dr. Yang," Admiral Kang said calmly, "activate the quantum storm projectors." "Yes, sir. Quantum storm in 3, 2, 1. Activated. Space itself began to change around the alien fleet. Reality twisted and warped as human technology manipulated the quantum field. The fabric of space-time bent and folded like cloth in a storm. One by one, the alien ships began to fall apart. Not destroyed by weapons, but unmade by forces that operated on a level deeper than matter itself. Hulls dissolved, engines ceased to exist, entire vessels simply faded away as if they had never been. "What is happening to our ships?" cried the alien commanders. "Quantum dissolution," Dr. Yang explained cheerfully. "We are unraveling the quantum bonds that hold your vessels together. Very clean, very efficient." In 10 minutes, 800 enemy warships had been reduced to empty space and scattered atoms. The greatest military force in galactic history had been erased from existence without the human fleet firing a single conventional shot. "Now," Admiral Kang said, turning back to the screen showing the alien leaders. "About that surrender." The 12 species that had ruled the galaxy for millennia looked at each other with terror in their eyes. Their fleets were gone, their fortress was helpless, and the humans had weapons that could unmake reality itself. Council Leader Vex Tar fell to his knees. We surrender, completely and unconditionally." "The Bruthan Empire surrenders," whispered the red-skinned alien. "The Crystalline Collective submits to human authority," came another voice. One by one, every remaining species formally surrendered to Earth. The last resistance to human rule had been broken. Admiral Kang nodded with satisfaction. "Very wise. Captain Moon, take us to the fortress. It is time to establish the new galactic government." The human fleet moved toward Nexus Omega, passing through the empty space where the enemy fleet had been moments before. Behind them, the artificial star continued to glow, a reminder of what human W. Emperor Shin Jae-wan stood in the throne room of the Celestial Palace, the massive orbital station that now served as the capital of the galaxy. Through the enormous crystal windows, he could see thousands of ships from hundreds of different species arriving to pay tribute to humanity's new empire. 6 months had passed since the final battle at the galactic core, 6 months since the old Galactic Council had fallen to their knees and surrendered unconditionally. The galaxy was peaceful, now united under human rule for the first time in its history. "Your Majesty," said Chancellor Yu Haeun as she approached the throne. She had once been Ambassador Kim's assistant, but now she managed the daily affairs of 10,000 star systems. "The morning reports are ready." Emperor Shin nodded. He wore simple robes of blue and silver, the colors of Earth. Unlike the alien rulers who had come before him, he did not need golden armor or jeweled crowns to show his power. Everyone in the galaxy knew who was in charge now. "What news from the outer systems?" "The Vorthak slave camps have all been closed, Your Majesty. The last group of human prisoners was freed yesterday. Former Ambassador Kim supervised the operation personally." The Emperor smiled. Kim Hyun-woo had been given the title of Director of Liberation, responsible for freeing every enslaved human in the galaxy. It was fitting work for a man who had spent 50 years pretending to be weak while his people prepared for war. "Excellent. And the reconstruction efforts?" "Proceeding ahead of schedule. The new governors report that alien populations are adapting well to human management. Crime rates are down, food production is up, and most species seem happier under our rule than they were under the old council." This was true. The human empire was nothing like the cruel Galactic Council that had come before. Where the aliens had ruled through fear and oppression, humans governed with fairness and justice. Species that had been slaves for centuries were now free. Planets that had been strip-mined were being restored. Any resistance movements? A few small groups on the outer rim, but nothing serious. Grand Admiral Kim's patrols have the situation well in hand. Emperor Shin walked to the great window and looked out at the magnificent sight below. Ships from every corner of the galaxy formed orderly lines as they approached the palace. Bruthan cargo vessels brought tribute of rare metals. Sarathi science ships offered their research for human approval. Even the proud Crystalline Collective sent their finest artworks as gifts. "Have the council members arrived for today's session?" "Yes, Your Majesty. Former council leader Vex Tar is waiting in the chamber, along with representatives from all 12 former ruling species." The Emperor turned from the window. "Then let us begin." The new Galactic Council chamber was much different from the old one. Where before 12 alien species had sat in judgment over the galaxy, now there was a single throne for the human emperor. Below it, arranged in a circle, were chairs for the alien representatives who served as regional governors under human authority. As Emperor Shin entered the chamber, every alien present fell to their knees. Former council leader Vextar, who had once called humans primitive animals, pressed his blue forehead to the floor. "You may rise," the Emperor said gently. Despite their past cruelty, he treated the aliens with the dignity they had never shown to humans. The former rulers stood and took their seats. They looked very different now. Gone were the arrogant expressions and sneering voices. They had learned humility the hard way. "Report on the agricultural worlds," Emperor Shin requested. A small, insect-like alien stood up. "Your Majesty, food production in the agricultural sectors has increased by 40% since human rule began. The elimination of tribute taxes and the redistribution of resources to farming communities has created abundance where there was once scarcity." "And the mining operations?" Former council leader Vextar himself answered this question. "Your Majesty, worker conditions in the mining systems have improved dramatically. The 8-hour workday and safety regulations you implemented have actually increased productivity. Workers who are healthy and rested perform better than slaves who are overworked and afraid." Emperor Shin nodded. This had been one of the first changes made after the conquest. The alien ruling class had believed that cruelty and fear made workers more efficient. Humans had proven them wrong in just a few months. "What about the military situation?" Grand Admiral Kim Tae-hyung stepped forward from where he had been standing near the wall. "Your Majesty, the Galactic Defense Force is fully operational. We have integrated the most reliable alien vessels into our fleet structure. The Dreadnought squadrons maintain peace in all sectors. Any threats to galactic stability? None whatsoever. The mere presence of human ships in a system is enough to prevent any conflicts. Most species are more concerned with improving their worlds than fighting wars." This was the remarkable thing about the new galactic order. For the first time in thousands of years, there was real peace. Species that had fought each other for centuries now worked together under human guidance. The massive military fleets that had once terrorized the galaxy were being converted into exploration and colonization vessels. "Chancellor Yu, what about the cultural integration programs?" Chancellor Yu stood and activated a holographic display. "Your Majesty, the education initiatives are showing excellent results. Young aliens are learning human values of equality, justice, and cooperation. Many are volunteering to serve in the Imperial administration." The display showed images from across the galaxy. Alien children learning alongside human teachers. Mixed species working together on construction projects. Former enemies sharing meals and celebrating festivals together. "Most encouraging is the response from enslaved populations that we have liberated," the Chancellor continued. "They are among our most loyal supporters. The Aquatic Federation representatives have requested that their homeworld be renamed New Hope in honor of human liberation." Emperor Shin felt a deep satisfaction. This was what he had envisioned when the conquest began. Not an empire built on fear and oppression like the old council, but a true galactic community where every species could prosper. "There is one more matter, Your Majesty," Grand Admiral Kim said. "Our exploration fleets have made contact with 3 new intelligent species beyond the galactic rim. They are requesting permission to join the Empire." "Do they understand our terms?" "Completely. Equal treatment for all sapient beings, no slavery, no warfare except in self-defense, and acceptance of human final authority in disputes. They have agreed to everything." Emperor Shin smiled. "Then welcome them as full members. Assign colonies and representation according to their population." As the council session ended, Emperor Shin remained in his throne, while the alien representatives filed out. Each one stopped to bow respectfully before leaving. These beings, who had once considered themselves the masters of the galaxy, now served humanity willingly. Chancellor Yu approached the throne once the chamber was empty. "Your Majesty, there is a personal message waiting for you. From Directors Kim." "Put it through." The holographic display activated, showing Kim Hyun-woo standing in what looked like a beautiful garden on a restored world. Behind him, human children played with aliens of several different species. "Your Majesty," Kim said with a smile, "I wanted to report that the last slave camp has been closed. Every human taken by the Vorthak has been returned to their families. The camps themselves are being converted into schools and hospitals." The Emperor felt emotion well up in his chest. Excellent work, Director. You have done more than anyone to heal the wounds of the past. It has been my honor, sir. But I must tell you something else. Yesterday, I received a delegation from the planet where I suffered the worst humiliation during my years as an ambassador. The same aliens who once laughed at me and called humans animals came to personally apologize. They begged for forgiveness and offered to serve humanity in any way possible. Kim paused, his expression becoming thoughtful. Your Majesty, I think we have achieved something remarkable. We did not just conquer the galaxy, we transformed it. The old ways of cruelty and oppression are dying out. A new generation is growing, up that values cooperation over domination. That was always the goal, Emperor Shin replied. Not just to defeat our enemies, but to build something better in place of what we destroyed. There is one thing I wonder about, though, Kim said. Do you ever think about what would have happened if the aliens had accepted us peacefully 50 years ago? If they had treated us as equals instead of slaves? Emperor Shin considered this. Perhaps we would have become junior partners in their galactic community. Perhaps we would have been content to remain one species among many. But now? Now humanity leads the greatest civilization in galactic history. Every species is free. Every world is prosperous. There are no more slaves, no more wars of conquest, no more genocides. The Emperor stood from his throne. Perhaps their cruelty was necessary. Perhaps we needed to be pushed to become what we are now, the masters of the galaxy. No, Emperor Shin corrected gently. The servants of the galaxy. We rule because we must, not because we want to. Our power exists to protect the weak and ensure justice for all. As the conversation ended, and the hologram faded, Emperor Shin walked back to the great window. Below him, the galaxy continued its daily business.